If you've been following the Gemini Discover channel, you'll probably noticed that Martin and I have been doing a lot of hiking lately. It's the most hiking that we've ever done in our entire lives, and it's fueled mostly by this COVID pandemic, which has forced us to look outside for inspiration and adventures. Although we've always enjoyed hiking, we haven't done a whole lot of it until recently, so our hiking day bag has been in flux. And so in this video, I'd like to share with you all of the items that are in my essential day trip hiking bag. Let's start with the bag itself. This is an Osprey day pack. It's the Tempest 9, so it's a 9-liter bag, and Osprey is just one of the premier outdoor bag makers. We've been buying their backpacking bags and their wheeled bags for traveling on the airplane for a long time, and they're just really high quality, and they really know what they're doing in terms of making bags for travel. These hiking bags are no exception. So this Osprey Tempest bag is made for women, so it's a smaller bag and it's also made to fit a woman's curves. So I really appreciate that. It fits me super well. This again is the 9-liter version, but there are medium-sized and larger bags if you'd like to go up in size. The equivalent for men is the Osprey Talon. So this is the Osprey Talon 22, and so this one is closer in size to what the Osprey Tempest 20 or 22 bag would be. I find that the 9-liter capacity is just enough to carry all of my day trip essentials without my bag being too big and bulky. But with that said, I have watched Martin hike with this Osprey Talon 22 bag, and even though the capacity is about double that of my bag, I feel like Osprey does it in such a way that it doesn't add a lot of bulk. So the key features I like about this bag are the chest strap and also the waist straps, and those are really essential so that the weight gets off of your shoulders, and it makes carrying a heavier load a lot easier for a longer period of time. Most of our hikes are no longer than 11 or 12 miles long, and so this bag does just fine and doesn't cause me any shoulder or neck pain. This bag and the Talon 22 also have a breathable back, which is really essential because when you're hiking and you're sweating, like I do a lot, then this way the bag doesn't absorb all that sweat. So even though your shirt and your back might be wet, your bag doesn't pick up a lot of that moisture. And that's one of many reasons why I recommend hiking with a quick dry shirt or quick dry hoodie or any combination of the two, because that quick dry fabric is really great at absorbing your sweat and not making you cold throughout your hike. So now that I've explained that, let's dig into what's inside of my bag. The very first item are my hiking poles. These are hiking poles made by Cascade Mountain Tech. It's a company based out here in Washington State, and they make hiking poles of different styles and materials. These are carbon fiber, and they actually fold, so they're really nice and compact, but if you want to extend them, it is super easy to do. You can do it in a matter of seconds, and then you have a hiking pole that you can use for stability when you're going uphill or downhill. For me, I really need hiking poles that I'm hiking downhill, because there's something about just looking down, it gives me vertigo, and I'm really unsteady on my feet, so I really need these hiking poles. But since I don't need them all the time, I love the packability feature of them, because they fit so nicely inside of my hiking bag. And the other nice thing about those hiking poles is that this Osprey pack has a loop here that can actually hold your hiking poles on the side of your backpack strap whenever you don't need them. So this is another good reason to get this Osprey pack. The next item that I have is my REI Co-op Nalgene bottle. It's a 32-ounce bottle, and it's just about enough water for an average hike that I do. I typically travel with about 32 ounces of water for, up to 10-11 miles, and this is all the water that I typically need. However, if I'm hiking somewhere and I find a fresh water source, such as a river or a lake, then this is where this thing comes in handy. This is the Life Straw, and it's a personal water filter that you can stick inside of a bottle like this, and it purifies your water. You still want to evaluate your exact water source and make sure that you're not drinking anything too sketchy or too sludgy, but in most cases this does a really good job of purifying water in case you're in a pinch while you're on a hiking hiking trail. Now my hiking bag does actually have a spot for a hydration pack or a water bladder, which can be really good for having a hands-free solution to water and packing more water with you. But I've had some bad situations and experiences with water bladders in the past where they've leaked inside of my bag and just ruined the contents inside of my bag. It's happened multiple times. So I personally am not a fan of water bladders or hydration packs, but if you are, then this is a really good bag that will give you some space to hold a hydration pack. Speaking of water, this is a Osprey extra small rain fly, and you have to buy this separately, but it's so small and it's really great for shielding your bag in case of a downpour. Another essential item is a first aid kit in case you have any bumps or scrapes or bruises while you're on the hiking trail. Your first aid kit should have the essentials such as bandages and antiseptic wipes, but also consider bite and sting relief in case you get bitten by a snake or an insect or anything like that. I'll tell you that for all the hiking that I've done, I haven't been bitten by a snake or had any reason to use a first aid kit, but that's no reason to not have one on you, because it just takes one little accident, and if you don't have a first aid kit, there's really not much you can do. Another thing that's really helpful to have inside of your first aid kit that a lot of first aid kits don't come with is moleskin. I swear by moleskin because back when I used to run half marathons, moleskin really helped me keep running even when I had these really awful blisters on my feet. And that's really essential because if you do get injured on the trail, you have to find a way to get yourself out. So make sure that you have a first aid kit and all those items to help you in case of an injury. Speaking of accidents and injuries, a emergency whistle such as this one is also really great to have. The main scenario I see for using a safety whistle like this is if you end up in a bad situation where you need help and it's not easy for people to locate where you are. So a safety whistle like this can help draw attention for people that might be able to help or rescue you. Alright, more little small items. Here is some sunscreen, so bringing some extra sunscreen, really helpful for when you're out in really sunny locations. This one is particular for your face, but I also have a slightly bigger version of sunscreen that I bring just to reapply throughout the day. Or if you're like me and you prefer to not use sunscreen as much as possible, then these sun sleeves are super helpful. So if you don't like using sunscreen, I don't like sunscreen because it gives you that kind of sticky feeling, and I sweat a lot, so I almost guaranteed to like sweat it off immediately. So I have these sun sleeves that I got from REI, and I actually got them for our trip to Belize last year. But you put them on like this, and they give you like, I think, SPF 50. And so I'm gonna try these out today and hopefully protect my arms from getting sunburned. And the nice thing is they're also really breathable, so you don't get too hot while you're wearing them. It can also insulate your arms and keep them warm in case you need a jacket. But speaking of jackets, it's always a good idea to bring one just in case. This is a packable jacket, the Patagonia Houdini jacket. And I love it because of this little size, but it unpacks to become a full-size jacket that is water resistant. So it's a nice little rain jacket, but it also insulates in case you end up in a windy spot or somewhere where you just need an extra layer of warmth. I also often have my Capilene Cool long sleeve hoodie shirt that's also packed inside of my hiking bag, and this packs up really small. It's a quick dry material so it doesn't wrinkle, and it can offer some insulation or some sun protection if you need an extra layer. So the key to hiking is layers. Be sure to bring them, either wear them on top of yourself or have them stowed inside of your bag in case you need to add them. So some final items here. This is a bug shield or bug net. Goes over your head and your neck, and it protects the upper part of your body from any bugs that might try to attack you, such as mosquitoes or those no-see-ums or flies. And if you've ever been hiking at higher elevations or places where there's lots of bugs, then you know exactly the scenario that I'm talking about, where you want something like this to protect your face from being bitten or swarmed. And another little essential thing, this is mostly for my lady hikers out there, this is a panty liner. And these are really great to have for when you need to use the bathroom on the trail and there isn't a bathroom, because that will happen a lot. So one of the best ways to get around that situation without littering and leaving toilet paper behind is just to have a panty liner. Just wear these, and it makes it a lot easier to go off trail, squat, do your business, and leave semi-clean. Along those lines, I also pair this with some hand sanitizer to make sure that you feel a little bit cleaner out on the trail. These are at the bottom of my bag, and they relate a lot to the first aid kit, just like some quick pocket guides to emergency first aid and outdoor survival. I know that if you're really into, you know, first aid and survival, this is probably going to look like a joke because there's only so much information that you can cram into a small booklet like this. But if you're someone like me and you just don't know a lot about outdoor survival and first aid, then I think it's better to have a small reference guide that gives you the bare bones basics about what to do in certain situations so that you're at least semi better off in case you end up in a bad situation. And finally, don't forget about snacks. Cliff bars are my absolute favorites. I always hike with at least 2, sometimes 3 or 4 Cliff bars inside of my bag, and they're really great just for giving you a little boost of energy while you're on those longer hikes. And because they last a really long time, it's okay if you have extras in your bag. So just be sure to bring enough to get you through at least a couple of hikes. And pro tip, Amazon has a top flavors of Cliff Bars variety pack on their website, and it is really, really delicious. It's full of some really great flavors and lots of Cliff Bars to keep you stocked up for several hikes at least. So that's everything that's inside of my hiking bag, but there are a few things that are on the outside which also might be helpful. The first is this Timbuktu phone holder. So for this trip and a lot of trips in general where there's like an edge or somewhere where you're kind of scared of dropping your gear, I have 2 things that really help with that. The first thing is the Black Rapid Wander Strap, which I already use a lot, and it just keeps your camera or your phone tethered to you so you don't have to worry about dropping it or losing it or leaving it behind. And the second thing, which is what I just got, but this is a Timbuktu kind of phone, Velcro phone case. And it's also great because for when you don't have pockets or you just don't want to carry this around with you, you can just stick your phone inside and you have it right here for whenever you want to pull it out. And you can also attach this to your camera strap or your backpack or even your camera bag. And on the other side of my bag is another camera strap. This is the cotton carrier strap, and this one is for storing my mirrorless camera. So we just saw the fox, and luckily I had my camera right here thanks to this cotton carrier strap. So all it was right here, and I'm kind of walking and then we see a fox. Oh, it's back. I'll demonstrate it right now how it works. So, as I was saying, sometimes you see a fox and you're like, oh shoot, you know, if your camera's in your bag, you have to, let me open this out, let me pull my camera out, let me get my settings right. But no, I had it right here so that when the fox came twice, I was able to just be like, oh my gosh, I'm ready to start shooting. And the final item that is sometimes in my bag, but sometimes also looped to my shorts pocket or my belt is my GoPro. And in case you haven't already noticed, we're really into photos and videos for this YouTube channel, so that's why I tend to have at least 2, sometimes 3 cameras readily at hand. But my GoPro is attached through this spider monkey holster, and this little clip is so small, but it's so ingenious. It attaches to your belt or your waist strap to your backpack, and it just makes it really easy to easily access your GoPro while you're out on the trail. And the final item that I have inside of my day trip hiking bag is my Anchor external battery. So this is really small and it's useful for charging your cell phone or your GoPro or your mirrorless camera or anything like that while you're out on the trail. And the other reason to keep your cell phone juiced up is not only to use its camera features, but also for GPS or for all trails. So one tip, especially if you're hiking alone, is to go to All Trails. It's a really cool online website that has a bunch of trail maps and reviews on it, but they also have an app, and through that app you can get directions to the trailhead and also download a map of your route, which is really handy, especially if you're hiking alone and going somewhere where you don't have cell phone service. So I downloaded both the app and the map for this trail, double checked we're on the right path. Oh, and I forgot to add one other item, which is a headlamp. This is really essential in case you end up in a dark spot, such as a cave, or if you're hiking close to sunrise or sunset and you lose any natural lighting. This is the Petzl Actic Core, which I really like because it comes with a rechargeable battery. Or you can use it with 3 AAA batteries. Alright, so that is everything that's in my 2020 edition of my day trip hiking bag. And I'd love to hear from you in the comments below if you have any other suggestions about other things to add to the bag, other products that might do better than the ones that I mentioned, let me know. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.